cuts in, shoots, scores! The ice, through the rear yard, scores! Shoots, scores! The sellout crowd comes alive.
Hello and welcome back to Gulls All Access. I'm your host, Andy Zilch. The team's point leader is one of the organization's newest additions, forward Rocco Grimaldi. Grimaldi, a Rossmore, California native, has appeared in 202 NHL games with the Nashville Predators, Colorado Avalanche, and Florida Panthers. Rocco recently passed the 300 AHL game mark, playing previous seasons with the Milwaukee Admirals, San Antonio Rampage, and Portland Pirates. I sat down with Rocco to learn more about the Gulls forward.
Rocco Grimaldi, we got a guy who can play offense just about as good as anybody. He's putting the puck on net.
Rocco Grimaldi, 5'6".
With such unbelievable speed and control of the puck.
I'll tell you, you can tell he's a step above everybody else because he does his job just about as good as anybody does.
Grimaldi on the breakaway. Rocco Grimaldi, score!
We welcome to the show for Rocco Grimaldi, a SoCal native, and the big question is, why did you start getting into the sport of hockey? Was it because of the Ducks, the Kings, or was it something that incited you from a family member?
Well, I mean, I think obviously when Wayne Gretzky got traded here, that sparked California hockey, and I just happened to be one of the first to kind of pick up hockey. And now look, I mean, it's grown so much, and there's so many kids that are playing pro from California now and getting drafted. It's pretty cool kind of being like one of the first, like the pioneers, I guess, because of that Gretzky trade, because of the Ducks and the Kings. So I think that's why I decided to play. But we had my sister had a friend who played hockey. I think they're in like 5th or 6th grade, randomly played hockey, and asked her to go to a game. So my whole family went. I think I was 4 years old at the time, and watched the game, and I was like, this looks like this could be fun. I want to try it out. So my parents, they're like, okay, we'll find a rink. Thankfully, there's a rink like 8 minutes from our house in Westminster. So that's how I started.
Oh, and roller hockey had a big boom too here in Southern California. Did you ever step on that scene?
Of course.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
So how was the roller hockey experience for you?
Unbelievable. I miss it actually a lot. Yeah. Roller hockey was awesome. Some guys played in the NHL that I played with roller hockey. Some played AHL, juniors, college. Like we had really good teams. I traveled, all over the States, Canada, just everywhere for roller hockey too, not just ice. Narch was like the most fun tournament ever. It was always at a different location every summer. You go with your teammate of buddies and playing mini sticks in the hotel and almost getting kicked out of every hotel because you're too loud and crazy. And then you go out and you play on the rink. And I was fortunate enough to win a few times, which was great. And my skills got developed by roller hockey. It's 4-on-4. There's more space. Made me, part of the player that I am today, as well as a lot of those other guys that I play with. I made it pro and beyond. So I miss it a lot. I wish I could. People still ask me to this day, hey, you want to play Narch with us this year? I'm like, I don't know if my contract allows that. So maybe we'll think about it.
I want to talk to your collegiate level now. So why did you make that decision to go to North Dakota and not play junior hockey in Canada, or maybe go to a different school? Why North Dakota? You
walk in the doors. I've heard things like, oh, you're going to be amazed. I'm like, okay, whatever. Opened the doors and I looked at the rink and I actually said, wow, like out loud. Like it takes a lot to impress me, and that was like, wow, what is this place? This is a palace. Yeah. I think there's something to be said about a college town that is straight up like just about your sport, just about hockey. I go back in the summers and like everyone knows who you are, and they'll tell you, I remember I was at this game, or I was at that game, or I remember when this guy used to play here 12 years, and like that just tells you what North Dakota is. Like it's family, it's diehard like hockey fans. Just love the sport, love the Sioux. It's just like they just love their team, they love you, they'll support you for the rest of your life. And I think that's something that kind of drew me there. Like you could just tell that in the locker room it was family oriented, and then outside you had like an extended family, which was pretty cool. It's different in pro. You got guys getting called up, sent down, new teams every year. Like you never have the same team 2 years in a row. College, it's like you guys are all there together. You're living in these kind of crappy dorms together. You're eating at different like Squires and Wilkerson and all these different places, and it's like I don't know, you just kind of grow up together. Like, you're still a kid, 18 to 20 years old, like, you're still a kid. And you grow up with these guys, and that's something that'll cherish forever.
Coming up, we'll introduce you to local hockey goalie Patrick O'Donnell and our Hockey Fights Cancer feature, right here on Gulls All Access, presented by California Coast Credit Union. Join the San Diego Gulls as we celebrate Winter Wonderland Night featuring teddy bear toss on Saturday, December 17th at 7 p.m. Arrive early for a holiday-themed tailgate featuring photos with Santa, live reindeer, a life-size snow globe, and so much more. Be one of the first 7,000 fans to arrive and get a free third jersey blanket brought to you by Palomar Health. The fun continues when we shower the ice with teddy bears after your Gulls score the first goal of the game. Get your tickets now at sandiegogulls.com/promotions. Welcome back. Last Saturday, the Gulls held their annual Hockey Fights Cancer game. All proceeds from the specialty jersey auctions and fundraisers were donated to Relay for Life San Diego. In conjunction with this year's campaign, the organization had the opportunity to meet an inspiring young man, Patrick O'Donnell. We take you inside Patrick's week with the Gulls and the honor to share his story right here. For Patrick O'Donnell, playing the position of goalie always seemed more like destiny than a choice.
Playing street hockey, you know, getting on the rollerblades and the pads, and you know, one Christmas I got a pair of pads under the tree, and you know, that was kind of it from there. And
Patty is the youngest of our 5 children. You know, the joke goes the youngest ends up being the goaltender because the older ones stick them in the net, and Patty just really took to it.
He's able to disengage from the impact of a play and think ahead and clear his mind. And I thought that made him, you know, an ideal fit, you know, to play goal.
Patrick found his fit in net and friendship and family in the local hockey community. On the ice, his teams found success. Patrick led the Pacific Ridge Hockey Club to a league championship and earned a North American Prospects Hockey League All-Star selection.
Pacific Ridge, for the first time, get to hoist a varsity championship cup. They win the Showman Cup by a final score of 4-1.
Looking to continue his hockey journey, Patrick decided to attend the University of Utah. Just 4 days before heading back to Utah for his sophomore year, Patrick received a diagnosis, a brain tumor. The hockey community was quick to rally behind Patrick. His former club, the Pacific Ridge Hockey Club, sponsored a Hockey Fights Cancer Month and set up a special site for direct donations to the American Cancer Society in Patrick's honor.
very humbled by the amount of support that the program and especially the school was able to show me. You know, not just with purple jerseys, but you know, with kind thoughts and words from everybody at the rink.
They've really been rallying around us in ways that I can't even put words to, supporting us and coming by, and there's just so much family in hockey.
The fundraiser has already raised over $4,000, with all donations going directly to the American Cancer Society. After learning about Patrick's story, Gulls goaltending coach Jeff Glass reached out to invite Patrick to a game.
Or if you want it, I think goalies should go last. But you want to set him first? You can set him first, dude.
To Patrick's surprise, he was asked to deliver the starting lineup, a read in the locker room, with the understanding that if the Gulls won, Coach Sommer expected him to come back on Wednesday to read the lineup again.
All right, left wing, we got O'Regan. Hey! Center, we got Bo. Hey! Between the pipes, we got Dossel. I didn't mess up any of the last names in the lineup. That was a highlight for me, you know. Got it in there and got the job done. That was cool.
Next, it was up to the press box to help Coach Glass scout the opposing team and break down the Gulls goalie play in net.
He's at top of the crease. He's athletic. He works to get into position, right?
Exactly. I was gonna say, he could have gotten pretty aggressive on the far side if that guy wasn't trying to block the shot either.
After the game, Patrick talked to Gulls goaltender Luke Ashdostal and Ole Eriksson Ek and was invited to attend film sessions later that week.
Being able to see the dynamic of how higher level goaltenders and coaches interact with each other and try to develop their skills.
I was really struck by the way that Lucas and Patrick linked. Kind of the collaboration and whatnot, talking almost as equals.
When I got to see some video and watch the game with him, and the experience is definitely one of a kind.
Saturday was Hockey Fights Cancer Night, and Patrick was invited to drop the ceremonial puck drop.
Please welcome to the ice this evening, Cancer Warriors, Carly Lackey and Patrick O'Donnell.
1, 2, 3. Go. That was pretty good. Yeah.
Later that evening, the Gulls were honored to acknowledge Patrick with a community award as part of the evening's community spotlight.
Tonight, the San Diego Gulls and American Cancer Society would like to present Patrick O'Donnell with the first Hockey Fights Cancer Community Award.
After the game, Patrick was invited down to the ice, where he was announced as one of the 3 stars of the game with fellow goaltender Łukasz Dostal.
It's not just me fighting this battle. I have all these people behind me supporting me, and I've just been overwhelmed by the amount of support I have from my family and my friends.
This is beyond cool, being here with the San Diego Gulls, and I know they're exceptional athletes, but the way they connect with Patty as young men has been really impressive.
Allowing Patrick and our family to get reconnected with the sport that we all love, we just can't say thank you enough.
Patrick plans to approach this fight like a goaltender, focusing on what he can control.
I can't cure myself, I know that, and so I can only worry about staying positive and keeping the people around me positive. And so that's what I've been focusing on a lot.
Coming up, we'll have part 2 of our sit down with Rocco Grimaldi, right here on Gulls All Access, presented by California Coast Credit Union. Save on tickets, food, and beer when you purchase the Hockey Night Out pack. The pack is available for every Tuesday and Wednesday home games this season and includes 2 tickets, 2 hot dogs, and 2 beers for only $79. Must be 21 and older. Purchase your ticket pack at sandiegogulls.com/nightout. Last season, we introduced you to Hometown Hero recipient Steve Bueller, coach of the SD Ducks sled hockey team.
I transitioned into coaching 4 years ago when my son first started playing. The adults saw me as a volunteer helping these kids out and approached me and actually asked me to coach the team. My favorite part about coaching is the kids and the adults. Both teams, the smiles on their faces, the joy that they have being out here, being free on the ice. Whatever their disability is, it just goes away once they're out here.
Steve and the team recently had the opportunity to participate in the 12th USA Hockey Sled Classic presented by the NHL. The event took place at Great Park Ice and 5 Point Arena in Irvine from November 17th to the 20th. The SD Ducks tournament week started with a joint practice with the Anaheim Ducks.
Now I'm on the back check. I'm on the back check, it's Sam. Chin up. There it is, big. Oh!
The 4-day tournament, hosted by the Ducks for the first time, featured 279 skaters from 23 sled hockey teams across the United States and Canada. Here's an inside look at the tournament.
1, 2, 3, go! 4, 6, 7!
Sled hockey is a very fast-growing sport, and I'm really excited to see where it's going to go. This weekend, we're really proud to have 17 different NHL clubs represented.
It's pretty unreal to, first of all, to see with some of the disabilities that some of the players have of what they're able to do. It's just unbelievable and amazing.
It was super fun, a great game to get started. We have a lot of people on this team this tournament, especially since it's a home team. So getting out there and kind of shaking off the rust felt really good.
There's no difference between a sled hockey player and a stand-up hockey player, in my opinion. They want to win, they know the game, they play the game, they're aggressive, they just love the game.
No matter if you played on our team for 1 year or you played on 5, You're always going to be a part of this family and you're always welcomed. Join us for practice. So it really is a cool kind of family, community, institution down that we have going on in Poway.
It just bridges the gap. Learning how to overcome challenges while playing a game allows us to now overcome those challenges in everyday life and makes our lives so much more fuller and meaningful.
And now part 2 of our sit-down interview with forward Rocco Grimaldi.
Grimaldi shoots, scores!
Grimaldi sends a player down on the ice. Now, when you're listed, it's listed as 5'6", and I've read a story that you made a comment that you think it's fun that people will say, oh, he's 5'6", and he's making it to the NHL, where generally you see guys at 6'6". Has that been a challenge for you, or is that something that you've wanted to prove people wrong about?
You know, it's funny. The only level it's been a challenge at is pro.
Yeah.
And I mean, you hear things like growing up, but it never really fazed me because I was a good player growing up, and I never really had that challenge, I guess. I mean, juniors, college, like I never had like oh, he's too small for this level. But all of a sudden, I don't know what it is about pro, but now I hear it a lot more. Just funny. You would think maybe the kid who's 5 years old playing against the 10-year-olds, maybe it should be considered too small, not the 30-year-old man. But I don't know. You hear it a lot more today, which is funny. You hear some people say the game's changing. You hear some people say you're too small. And it's funny because I don't feel like it's a disadvantage. I mean, yeah, there's disadvantages in some aspects of the game, of course, but there's more advantages. Just with people that I talk to, defensemen that I play against and even play with in practice, they'll tell you the small guys are always the worst to play against. They're terrible to play against because they're so small that you can't do anything or you're going to get a penalty, high sticking or cross check, whatever. And they're just so quick. And that's something that I knew I wasn't going to be a giant because I'm already taller than my parents when I was like 17. So I knew I wasn't going to be big. I knew I had to be fast. I knew I had to be skilled. So that's why I just worked on it constantly. I feel like there's still more that I can do. It's funny, I'm 29 right now, and a lot of people consider like 30s old in this business. And I feel like better than I did when I was 21. So I think that's something, not just size, I think age is now a new thing I'm trying to fight through, is, oh, he's too old now. When in reality I feel better, and I am better as a hockey player than I was when I was 20. So those are just a couple of things that pro has challenged me with.
Any mentors that you've had that maybe you're going to leave the rink today and give a phone call to? Somebody who's been in your back pocket for as long as you can remember. Anybody like that in your life?
I mean, it's such an easy answer as my parents, right? Like, mom and dad, I said it earlier, but they showed me how to live correctly, how to be a good person, which is more important than anything. But they showed me how to work hard. They modeled it for me. My parents are both retired police officers, and they modeled going to a job every day where you're actually risking your life, putting your life on the line, and I would watch that. And we didn't have a lot growing up. My parents we almost went bankrupt when we moved to Michigan. I didn't know at the time, but you just hear things like that and you're like, wow, my parents sacrificed literally everything for me. My dad retired that year when I moved to Michigan. 3 months into our move, he retired right at the age of 50 so that he can move up full time with us because he didn't want to be away from family. Mm-hmm. It just speaks a lot to the kind of person my dad is, the person my mom is. Obviously raising me the right way to know the Lord, raising me to be about family, raising me to care about other people. And I wouldn't be here without them today. It's also like, for my mom specifically, to be a woman, and she was a sergeant, especially at that time, is like pretty impressive. Like, my mom's kind of a beast. Like, it's cool. Like, it's funny, like both my dad's a triple black belt. Wow. And does a lot of crazy stuff, and I'm more scared of my mom. So it's just like, like I've had both. Like, that's why I'm a good kid. Like, I was a good kid growing up, because like I'm not gonna make these two mad. Like, you kidding me?
I want to talk a little bit just about your wife, Abby. She's a musician. She's got a good story of her own, but just give us a little insight on her career path and where she's landed.
Yeah, so I met her in college. Very similar personality-wise to me. Very, how do you say? Like, she's gonna hold this over my head for life. But she's funny. Like, she is the life of the party. She's very welcoming of everyone. She's a hard worker, just like I am. She's got music. I do hockey. You know, she inspires me to work harder every day. Like she's the best support system ever.
Now, my last question for you, I notice on your sticks that you write names on them. Are those special, or you just give your sticks random names?
It's both. So it's random for the most part. If it's someone I know, it means something, a lot actually. So how I started is usually guys either they put like a number 1, 2, 3, or I don't know, some guys put just a dot just to know what stick it is. I think it was 5, maybe 6 years ago in San Antonio. I was like, I don't want to do that. Like so if you have 1, 2, and 3, if you break 2, does the new one become 2 or does it become 4? So then you have all these questions you're trying to figure out, right? And so I decided I'm going to name them randomly. So A to Z boys' names, A to Z girls' names, and I just go on like nameberry.com or whatever, like you're having a child, and I name my child, okay. my stick. There's only been, I think, I would say maybe a handful of names that have meant something. When my grandpas and grandmas have passed, when my wife's grandpas have passed, I've put their names on the stick immediately. And then if the other grandparent was still alive, I gave it to them. And it means the world to them. It's something so simple that you can do, but it's really cool when you kind of play with their name on your stick and just remember, for me personally, like my own grandparents, like everything that they've done for me. And
what stick has produced the best luck for you? Do you remember?
Of course.
What is it?
Nicodemus. I swear. It was in San Antonio.
Okay, so what'd you do?
I think I had 8 goals in 4 games or 5 games. Yeah, he was hot.
Okay.
And then besides that, that's the guy, and then Trudy for the girl.
Okay.
I had 4 in 1 game with Trudy. Wow. Against the Red Wings, go figure. So, yeah, that's my guy, that's my girl.
Would you name your kids those?
Never. No chance.
That'll do it for this episode. Join us next week as we'll stop by Rady Children's Ice Rink at Liberty Station. For the cast and crew, my name is Andy Zilch. Thanks for watching Gulls All Access.